starting as always in the SEC, there's a possibility for an 8-way tie at the top of this conference right now, which would be absolutely absurd. But a lot of good football being played. Georgia back on top now. Texas A&M right behind them. Still the only one conference loss, even though it was a pretty bad one to South Carolina. Tennessee and Texas, LSU, all with one conference loss as well. The Texas versus Texas A&M game is going to be huge the last week of the season. I think whoever wins that game is into the SEC title game along with Georgia. I just don't think Tennessee is good enough to take a fight to Georgia, especially this year. The Tennessee offense has not looked great under Nico Iamaleava. They've struggled a little bit. It's really been Dylan Sampson or nothing, and I think Georgia has the ability to slow down Dylan Sampson. LSU Alabama this week, I think, is a huge game that means nothing, which is a little bit weird, but I don't think either of those teams will be able to get into the SEC title game at the end of the year, so it's big for playoff at large bid, maybe, but as far as making it to Atlanta, I don't think either of those teams are capable of doing so. Vanderbilt would need to win out and have help, but the fact they're even in that situation tells you what a job Clark Lee has done there this season. Diego Pavia playing great football for the Commodores. Ole Miss technically still with a shot as well, but with them welcoming Georgia to town this weekend, I just don't see it. I think they drop that game, but still hope, I guess, there. Bottom of the conference still looks as it has for most of the year. Oklahoma, Auburn, Kentucky, Mississippi State down there. Florida just above those guys. I do think there's a marked difference, though, between Florida and these other four teams. Florida at least has hope right now, although they did just say Billy Napier's coming back next season. I'm curious to see how that affects recruiting, but the DJ Lagway, Jaden Baugh combination for Florida is probably two of the best young players on any of these four teams. Kentucky, obviously, Berrien Brown is great. Auburn has Jarquez Hunter. Jay Crawford's been playing incredibly as a true freshman corner for the Tigers as well. But just a few bright spots on these bottom-dwelling teams. Missouri, I think this is a lost season for them. You came into the season with potentially even SEC championship hopes and have proceeded to go 2-2 in the conference to start with blowout losses. So very disappointing for them. I would say if I had to pick who goes to Atlanta right now, it is Georgia and Texas A&M still. I think that Texas A&M getting home field advantage versus Texas is huge. I think they capitalize on it, and I think Georgia's going to beat Tennessee. So still give me the Dogs and the Aggies in Atlanta at the end of the season.